gang, this is the engine part of the journey to the Queen's Royal. You can see that I wasn't kidding when I bought this off of either a cement mixer or something like that. It's got the, still has the mount from whatever piece of equipment that was mounted on. Okay, so this particular series, they do allow a remote mounted gas tank. In order to do that, you need to put the pulse pump on this engine. They do allow a aftermarket air cleaner, and they do allow an aftermarket muffler. Now, the reason is because the driver's shoulder and arm is like right here. So if you put the pipe on that has the curvature in it, you can build a shield. The gas tank goes away, and the air cleaner is just a little more efficient flow. So this is an entry-level series. The promoter is trying to keep it under control and not let it get out of hand. So those are the 3 modifications only allowed to the engine. What I don't have a clarification on is the governor situation. I'm sure it's going to be allowed to either disable the governor, probably not physically remove it from the internals, because that would require opening up the engine case, which also leads to, while you're in there, why not put a big cam in and stuff? That's definitely not allowed. So when it comes to the stock Predator, the intent and the spirit of the rule is in fact stock, except for these minor modifications. And really this is just to make sure that the driver can actually be on the machine and still have complete control over the steering wheel and things like that. So I got the pipe. I am going to run a muffler at least during the ramp up to this thing. When we're taking it out and getting my wife familiar with it, giving her some seat time, I want to run a muffler just so it's not that annoying to the neighbors or wherever else, whose ever parking lot we borrow. I have to say they definitely didn't skimp on the old shrink wrap here, or saran wrap. So I haven't opened these boxes. This is the first time I've ever seen these. I just took a risk, ordered this stuff off Amazon. I'm not happy about made in China, but so this will replace the stock muffler, and it'll get it out of the way of the driver, especially up here in the elbow area, you know, where the driver is going to be sitting so close to the engine. You guys that run karts, you know the deal. So this one came with the gaskets and the hardware. That's kind of nice. Trying to remember what else I ordered and what came in when. So this was kind of a neat little deal. This is the air cleaner. This particular kit comes with fuel filter and parts to give you the ability to eliminate this plastic shielding, and it comes with the adapter to go from the carburetor diameter, and it has the ribs in it to grab a hold of the flexible portion of the slip over function of the air cleaner. So I'm hoping that all works out according to plan. What else we got? Well, the final necessary modification for the remote fuel tank, which thankfully the donor cart that I purchased has that. Big box for a little box. Sometimes you gotta wonder if Amazon pays attention to the efficiency component of the size of things and the shipping. Apparently that bag is partially open. So this is the pulse pump that will provide the opportunity to pull fuel from the remote tank and supply it to the engine. And the only real tricky part of this is to figure out where to get that pulse from. Those of you who've done this before, I'm not telling you anything new, and you probably know more about it than I do. I'm just telling you that's something that I have to contend with. Higher flow, larger capacity fuel filter, so that might be nice to incorporate. So anyway, that's box number 3. And this actually has the quarter turn valve for the connections to prevent the possibility of leaking fuel all over the place, especially during transport. This was a necessary item. This motor came off of the machine with a pulley on it. So for now, I just ordered the stock clutch 35 chain, and we'll put that on. The one thing I'm missing is the actual mount for the engine to the chassis. That's going to be about another day before I see that. So that's the pile of parts. I'm going to do the conversion on this engine, and then it should be race ready, right? You know how that works. All right, I'm going to get to the disassembly and reassembly of this thing. Alright, so the kit comes with new jets, which is kind of cool because with more air, a more efficient air filter and a more efficient exhaust, you would think that the motor would appreciate a little more fuel. So it came with a new, I think they call this an emulsion tube, and it comes with a number 91 jet or a number 92 jet. I'm assuming 92 is bigger. Kind of on the fence. I don't know if I should just put the big one in and see if it runs rich and then back it up to see if the leaner jet works, but they are significantly larger than the factory. I don't have the pin gauge set to measure the diameter of this. It's probably at home, so I'll get back to you on what is the size of this in comparison to these. Some of you probably already know that. You can leave it in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead, because they supplied it, put this different tube. The fact that I took this out and I saw the amount of oxidation around, kind of glad I took it apart. Even though I got it running and all that, I'm thinking it'll run even better with some of these areas that had some corrosion to it. Who knows, maybe even just the oxidization had started to close that orifice in the jet up a little bit. The emulsion tube goes in first. This is the main power jet location, and that drops in, and then the jet goes in behind it and locks that in, and then the float bowl, retainer bolt threads in behind that. So again, I'm going to put the medium jet in, I think. Just one of the things is where this is going to be competing. Right now I'm at pretty close to sea level, but we're going to be at 3,000 or 4,000 feet, so I don't want to put this monster jet in it and just have it running super rich in the higher elevations. So probably going to go with the medium-sized jet for now, and then I can always do plug reading and stuff as we put some miles on the engine. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the correct size, or what I think is going to be the best size for our application. Then I'm going to start to reassemble this. I measured all of the components that came with the aftermarket filter kit to see if for some reason they had larger diameters, like port matching, if any of that was required, and everything is virtually identical to factory, and everything is larger than the exit diameter of the carburetor. So as long as everything else is larger than this, there's really no need to go in there and do any port matching. So I'm going to pick up the pieces that I dropped and then put it all back together. Alright, I have to say that I like the air filter kit. So far it seems like a pretty comprehensive deal. Comes with all the provisions to operate and utilize all of the stuff that's necessary, and should provide good, clean, higher volume airflow. We'll see. So what I'm going to do is just take my burr machine and give this a quick radius job here to encourage the exhaust flow to come in. Now I know for a fact that there's no porting allowed for this spec series, so I can't do anything to increase the flow of the exhaust port with the engine and the cylinder head itself. So I'm just going to do this as a peace of mind. Is it a waste of time? I have no idea, but that's what I'm going to do. The motor has come along a little further. I've got the deflector plate in and the fuel pump mounted. I've got the arm guard and the pipe installed, and the pulse comes in through a fitting that goes in the rocker cover, so I've got to put that in. And once the fitting is in for the pulse signal for the pump, and then the line from the pump to the carburetor, the engine's pretty much a done deal.